All right, welcome. To Temple Time, Mystic Ministering. I'm Cynthia Harrison, your Mystic Metaphysics Minister. And we are rolling. So we'll just wait for some people to show up. Who's coming on board today? We're right on time. Where are you? Who are you? Why are you? And let's get started. So we'll jump into Temple Time to start. And I guess those that are willing and ready can join in, and come with your people, the people that you wish to bring into circle for grace. And so what we do here, if you don't know, I'm Cynthia Harrison, and we sit in circle with our community to assist those in need. So we're going to do a little bit of that to start with, and you can either intentionally or put names in the chat, dropping names of people, loved ones, yourselves, that would like to receive highest energy, grace, not necessarily for healing or for a specific outcome, but for whatever is ready for you at this moment in time. And so that may not be a full miraculous recovery, although it could be. Okay, it could be. What is that for you? So connect in, let me know who's here, where you're watching from, if you're new, if you're always here. So people have been telling me lately that I might not see them, but they take me to bed all the time. They watch me as they're going to bed. I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. You know, people that I haven't seen for a long time, and they say, well, they see me all the time, so say hello so that I know that you're here and you're watching. So take a breath. Take a breath. Having your feet on the floor, or if you're sitting cross-legged, spine gently erect, chin slightly in for a neck lock. It's gentle breathing, connecting. Where are you? Are you here? Are you in your body? Are you connected? Are you in relationship with yourself? Do you know when I say yourself, does that even make sense to you? Language is an interesting thing. I'm learning. I'm in the mix of many, many languages all the time, and having a lot of what I'm personally learning, having to be translated from multiple languages. So it's very interesting. contemplating language. So when I say a word or have a meaning, is that meaning the same for you? What does it mean to connect? What does it mean to even be with self? What does it mean? What is soul? What is spirit? Another way of looking at it is, I've still got my coconut here. There you go. The seed. The seed. The seed within the husk. So the soul is like the seed, and the body like the husk. It protects us, but also can prevent nutrients going in and out, but can also feed us the nutrients. So it's this interesting relationship, yeah. So let's just connect with our circle. Connect with those that are here. Come over to the Zoom link if you like. Breathing. Feel the energy build. Feel like what that feels like when you open to the intention of connecting to those in the community, to those in our circle. What's that feel like in your body? What's that feel like in your energy? It may feel like no thing. It may feel like everything, or something in between. Which end of the spectrum are you? Breathing. Connecting to self. Just being aware how your physical body is. No judgment, just awareness. Breathing. Awareness that you're here in this moment, either in service or to receive. Or maybe a little of both. Maybe a little of both. If you're here as a proxy for somebody else, meaning if a loved one or a friend, somebody in the field or an animal you feel may respond to a little bit extra love, bring them to mind in this moment. Just bringing them to mind in this container. And as you bring them to mind, it's as if they're coming in, the essence of their being is coming into the center where the healing space is, where the grace resides. So just breathing, allowing, being, whatever part of the circle you are, just is. So breathe into that. So I'm just going to do a little connection. So sit in the presence for a moment while I continue to build the container, the extension of our vessels, extension of our bodies. Just connecting to the beloved, to holy wisdom, to the Divine Mother, Divine Father, Supreme Consciousness, my beloved, the beloved, the energy of all that is, the emanator. Just basking in this ocean of love and mercy, all who show today, whether that's in, I was going to say live, virtual reality, or as essence. And the way that this energy works, we used to call it longitudinal wave, or scalar wave, we now call it longitudinal wave. So this is the wave of how we can shift, move energy at a distance, connect, be, are. So just building that container. All you have to do is breathe. Make sure all your breath is out. And then inhale. Practicing elongating your breath just gently. So that it allows the life force, the prana, the chi, to be within the breath. To be within the breath. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to sit in that, and with the intention that all that are here today, all that watch the replay, all that are brought in to the circle, may they receive, may they be open to receive what is theirs to receive in this moment, for what is to be moved, transformed, alchemized, touched by the hand, by the grace of God. May that be. May that be. May the blessings be. So let's sit in that power. Just being open to receive. No expectation. Just surrendering, opening. What is surrender? It's just being open. Being aware of the fears and just accepting them. Just in this moment, just accept all the fear, all the love, all that is, so that you can receive your little peace, your little spark, your little drop of grace, the healing elixir from the beloved. The one that loves you with purity of unconditional love. Swim in the ocean of love and mercy. Just allow yourself to float just for this moment, if nothing else. So just receiving, knowing that the drop of this grace elixir has been placed on your tongue, so to speak, that it is yours to choose to receive. No one else can receive it for you. We are purely facilitators, instruments. And it's okay if it's difficult to receive love. Make a note. The fear of love. My worth prevents me from receiving. And come back next week, or play the replay and try again. The fear of love is one of the greatest fears of humanity. We're used to fear of fear. We're used to the fear of pain. We're used to the fear of suffering. But suffering from a fear of love is a whole nother story. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You are the spark thrown forward in perfection. Do you receive it? Can you receive it? So these circles are your opportunity to practice utilizing this circle as a processing tool, an integration tool for what you find difficult in your life right now. Breathe. No, it's okay. All will be how it should be. You can't see it yet, but the beloved is in front of the wave. All will be well. Breathe. If emotion comes up, allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to sob. Allow yourself to express the emotion that rises. It's making space for you to digest, to ingest the grace, the love, the purity of unconditional love that is yours. In the space within is held the stuff, our baggage from the past, our beliefs and conditioning patterns. We're bringing them with us. And there's parts of that luggage that's old now. You can put those old socks aside and allow a new something. You can put that shoe aside and allow the beauty of the aspect of soul that you are. Your vessel no longer needs to hold what it did. You can release it. When you're ready, you will. When you're ready, you will. So we just make sure you're breathing to move the energy, whether you feel it or not. Your systems are conductors, and to be able to shift, move the amount of charge that's coming in, whether you feel it or not. Breathe. Feel your body, feel your feet, your legs. Place your hands on your knees or on your thighs. Rub your thighs, feel your body, your container. This is your vehicle, your vessel. It's what the emanation is held within. See yourself as the emanation, the sparks, all the sparks thrown forward, emanated forward, down into the emanated, the vessel, the one you call whatever your name is. Your personality is not who you are. You are not your personality. Place your hands on your shoulders, cross over, and just give them a squeeze. Give your arms a squeeze. And then cross over, do the other. I'm just doing crossovers. It's actually a technique that you can use if you feel you're a little agitated or in stressful situations, but for now we're using it to just bring you back to your body. If you happen to flit off into the cosmos or some other place that felt comfortable, I don't want to leave you there. It might feel nice, but I don't want to leave you there. All right. How you doing? How are you? Maybe have a sip of water. Just allow that to come in. So whether you were part of the circle in service or part of the circle in as the receiver, you're all receptacles, you're all receivers, as I am, as it comes through me. I'm like the straw, as I like to say, right? There's always a little bit stuck in the straw. So as those transceivers, transmitters and receivers, we also receive, whether we are aware of it or not. So you never really have to put yourself in the circle, because just by being here, you're in that energy, and you are that energy, and you swim in the ocean. We are the ocean as our community. So let me know that you're back and you're okay. You feel however you feel. And it's interesting. So, time did we start? 3:30. So we've got a bit of time left. Usually we do circle on main one on Tuesdays, but we talked, we shared, we went all over the shop, talked about all sorts of things. I can't even keep up with what we talked about and what we touched on. So I said that we'll do Circle and Grace today. Make sure we got that in first. So I'm going to kick off by just sharing a little bit about some conversations I've had with people. You let me know if there's anything that's coming up for you or you got a question. So we have our next intake of, well, our first intake of Psi, but this spiritual intelligence mastery program, which I'm calling Simran Ishnan. And if you don't know what that means, go and look at Instagram. It's everywhere, but it's literally my spiritual name. Means the one who clears karma through the remembrance of God. So the whole program is around clearing, cleansing, looking at what your vision is, what your goals are, how you want to be, how you're aring, or you potentially could, what's your full human potential, the evolution of you as an individual in this moment. What and how do you want to be in this world? What do you want to experience? And there's techniques that we go through to get the answers to those questions. A lot of people have difficulty doing that. So there are processes, effective processes to touch in, to get clear direction. But why am I there? I'm there to help you refine those, to get the steps. Well, okay, if you want to retire here, what are the steps to get there? If you want to start a business or go international with your business, what are the steps there? If you want to heal, there's a lot of people with cancer around lately, a lot of people in my field, and how we navigate, illness, serious illnesses, and monitor the energetics And so I'm looking at that regularly through the week and documenting that for you so you can see how your lifestyle and how what's happening in your lifestyle impacts your energetics. And I'm aligning them for you. So if you don't know me, you don't know my background, it's a bit too much to go into. Suffice to say, I'm an advanced clinical practitioner, energy medicine practitioner and teacher of high energy. So there's that side of things. But that's not the core of the program. The core of the program is you journeying through that. And so why I'm telling you this is because the people that have been talking with me about, the potential of them becoming part of that community have said things like my health or my finances or my relationship or all of these things. I'm renovating. I don't have time. All of these things, right? It's nothing new because they're all fears. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go the old route and say, you got to push through your fears and all of that. We don't do that. We acknowledge the fear and we say, okay, humans have fears. The thing is, this program is so specifically made for working through with navigating those fears, the fear of love and the fear of fear. And they're the two things that will stop you in every aspect of your life. So you could say it's the fear of this or the fear of that. It's, I don't have the confidence, or I don't have the money, or I don't know how, or, I'm looking after my family right now. And I could, a million things. And I used to say as a social worker when I was a trauma therapist, I did intensive support of families. Okay, so I'd go to your home, and I have to laugh because it's like I would call people and say, okay, I'm about to leave, just letting you know I'm on my way, and they'd say, oh no, can we reschedule? And I'd say, why? And they'd say, it's just a really bad day. All this stuff's happened. And I'd say, well, this is the perfect time for me to be there because my job, this is why I chuckle, because my job is navigating those difficulties. That was my job, is to help you navigate those difficulties, right? Whatever it was. Okay. Same thing when I worked in housing, working with homeless families, not individuals, families. And it'd be like, not just giving you a house, but what are the reasons that you became homeless, and navigating those and their complex needs, usually complex trauma leads to these spirals in. So just to let you know, if there's stuff going on in your world, right, often we pull away from because we don't have the capacity to hold. The programs I run, the things that I do, are for assisting you with the capacity, guiding, mentoring. So some of you only know me as, the mystical cosmic one. My background's vast and the programs are solid. It's not woo-woo, whatever woo-woo is. I hear people say woo-woo. I'm like, what even is that, right? The energetics are researched. It's, like I said, longitudinal wave. It's all been studied. My background in all the different types of therapies. and all the different avenues, my conflict resolution, everything. So I'm just putting it out there, whether you work with me or someone else, like that's a little thought. And I always share what happens in my days and what's going on, because usually other people will relate to an aspect of it. Okay, so why are we ill? So we start with health and wellness. Why are we ill? And I was talking about this, was it this morning or yesterday morning, about cancer and how we navigate cancer energetically. And it literally is, you can map it where it goes because of how the energy flows. And there's two particular ways that it flows. So you follow it back to what we call the mother, or what I call the mother. And usually where it comes through the body is not where it started. So for instance, if it comes through kidney or something to do with kidney energy, we follow it back to the energies before that. So it might be, from water to metal. So what are the energetics that are connected to metal? Loss, grief, sadness, sorrow, those sorts of emotions, energies. And then lung, right, and large intestine holding on too tight, like not releasing something, or letting everything go, and lung is, our breath. Our chest is where we hold a lot of our suffering, a lot of our grief, and particularly behind the rib cage. So there are techniques, particularly in, different kriyas, like in Kundalini Yoga, that are specific for moving those micro muscles in between the rib cage and things like that, where there's energy, aka emotions in there, right? So we can go that way and look at that stuff, but we can also go the control. So what's opposite? There's ways of tracking. Certain illness are like parasite. You can track where they're going to feed off next, those sorts of things. So it may not be about curing anything. That's what I say. It's not about healing, magically healing something, although we're open to miracle. It's about what you're able to receive. And if you're not able to receive, you're not going to heal. You're just not, you're going to be going through life. We, as humans, will go through life as we go through life. Right? That opening, that's why I took you through in that circle around opening, receiving. What if it was that easy? What if it was that easy? And some of you watching may not be ill at this point or have any constriction or confinement, but you may have like what I call, what's your character? So when you're stressed, constricted, when you're stressed, how are you? How do you behave? What's the character that comes out? And is that helpful or is it a hindrance? Does it move you along or does it hold you back? Usually it's your core fears, your triggers, your beliefs and conditioning patterns that are there from early childhood. And so they give you opportunities. So that's the blessing in a way. When you are going through a stressful situation, you get to see where there may need a little refinement, right? So how do you do all of that? How do you do all of that? Do you read a book? Do you watch a video like this? Do you come to a live like this? Because that's not going to get you there. It's not going to get you there. It's a piece. It might make you feel good for a little while. It may lift your spirit for a moment. But is it giving you a true intimate relationship with your soul? Can you hold that alignment when you leave this live, or when you leave the clinic room, or when you leave the whatever medication or what do you call it? Self-soothing, self-medicating. And we do that in all different ways. So it's really difficult for me to say what Psi is, what the program is, because it's so much, yet it's so simple at the same time. So it's addressing what you choose to address in your life and working through all aspects. And in fact, I do a little bit more work than you do, because I'm tracking it with you and I'm prompting you. And we're doing creative processes as integration along the way. It doesn't matter if you can't paint, draw, whatever. It's a tool, just like this video is a tool. It's just a tool. Actually, this is one of my paintings. It's not finished, but I've decided it's finished. Right, this is an underpainting. And underneath, I just took a Sharpie, you know, a black marker, and I encoded underneath. Actually, you might be able to see if I go close up. I don't know. Like there's, maybe not. There's like drawing underneath. And coding, and every, like you can see some of these lighter marks. Every stroke has something related to it. So I might say, okay, we go through the first month or the first class within the first month. We go through a process, and what comes out of that process, I'll get you to document on your canvas or in your journal. Choose a color, choose a marker, choose a pattern, choose a whatever it is. And the reason why is because we're getting different parts of the brain, different parts of your energy online. It's not about one aspect. You have to work holistically for change. One piece isn't going to work. I have worked in all of these areas individually, and I'm telling you, we can do the painting process by itself. I've been teaching intentional. I've got other paintings over there for like, I don't know, 15 years doing workshops online and live. I haven't done them for a while, but for a couple of years, other than with private clients. And the same thing. It's like working through, finding every way in to look at that piece that's holding you back, right? And it's going to find every way it can to get out of it. So whether that's, you know, we could say ego, we could say there's an aspect of self that won't want to go in the way that another aspect of self wants to go. So just say you want to do something. Put in the chat what's something you want to do or be or achieve, you know. So the other day I was talking about tap dancing and ballet, right? It could be something like that, or it could be, you know, start a business, start a ministry, start an ashram. It might be you want to go back to school, or you just want to make some more money doing what you love, whatever that is. So you're going to work towards that, and at some place that character is going to come up and say blah, 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 and all your stuff is going to get in the way. Often when you're conscious, you'll see it. It'll still come up, but you'll see it. And you may be able to go, oh, that's my fear. Okay. There's a fear, or I'm scared about this. If I keep moving forward, I might achieve it. And then what? If I achieved what I'm putting my self into, I might succeed. And what does that mean? Because that's the fear of love. I've seen it for years and years and years with clients or students who, you know, I take you through processes where you connect. You connect with soul. You connect with the beloved. You can get there. And they break down, sobbing, in bliss and love and beauty. But if you have that fear of love there, within, I don't know, it can be moments, it can be hours, it can be days, you'll push it away. Why? Because you don't feel that you're worthy. How could someone like you be that magnificent to have the love of the all there is? Okay, I don't know if any of you have felt that. That was me years ago. It was really hard for me even to really receive love of another human, like real love, purity of love, not this, BS that people just want to be with you to fulfill themselves. I had that a lot. And some of you that are working on your spiritual path, you'll often have people, men or women, wanting to almost, they feel your energy and they want to be with you in some way, shape or form. And that's okay, but being aware of that, being conscious that that's not love. That's them wanting to fulfill something within themselves, and probably you wanting to too. That's all relationship, general human relationship is. We're fulfilling the whole in each other. When you are complete, you have that wholeness. And look, some of you will say, healed enough. Yes, you can be healed enough. You don't need to be fully healed. But what I'm talking about, where some of us are going, right, is about that full completing as the self and then connecting with another. That's the purity of unconditional love. There's no grasping. You have the capacity to choose. You don't have the capacity to choose until you get to that place. It's not a conscious choice. Every single day you get to choose to be with that person. It's not oh, but I love them, or I need them, or this or that. They're all your fears. All your fears. You consciously are choosing in every moment. That's conscious evolution. That's an advanced awareness. And so how do you get there? Through these programs, through these integrations, through these being brought the awareness to then watch it in your life. And so we go through these, yes, it's a conscious choice to heal. Yep. Let me just go back over your comments because I can see them popping up. Because once I get off the live, I can't read them anymore. They disappear. So stuff gets in the way, presents the problem. We can remain in a state of problem solving and learning, or in states of healing. These states all grow instead of the gravity of pain. Yeah. Simultaneously, we release whichever emotion requires releasing. It is individual experience. Yeah. We also get to so once we're aware of the shift in our nervous system, which is either love or fear, purity, love or fear, right? When we accept that that's what it is, right? Different parts of the nervous system doing what the human does, positive mind, negative mind, and the neutral mind, right? When we accept that, then we find ways of making it acceptable in our life. So everything really is a fit. So I could go into this deeply, but I won't. Suffice to say, the theory part of the program is around teaching that, so that you get, so the second week of the month is a theory or a teaching around, okay, how spiritually, these knowings guide us, right? And we use numbers, we use the gurus, we use the matriarchs of the Bible, we use the tree of life, we use, the pieces of my lineage, right? And how they cross-reference. Why? because some of you like stories. The human likes a story. I could do it without the story, but there's a lot. I've been talking to some ladies lately and they just love the theory. They would just do it just for the theory, right? But the theory's not going to get you there. It'll give you some ahas and some entertainment and something to sort of hook onto, but your ego wants the story, right? The entertainment. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to get you the solid shifts to move you into the co-creator, the director of your life, right? Where you have true directorship of your life, where you get to choose, truly choose another human or yourself or what you want to do, be, right? It's no longer like, oh, I don't know, I'm confused, right? It's a process. So anyway, we go through those processes, but I'm walking you through. I'm your mentor, I'm your coach. So it's not some automated program. And it might sound like a lot of hours. It can be. So each class is 2 hours. But ultimately, you know, you don't have to come to the whole 2 hours. There's replays. The mentoring, I would say, show up for, because that's then looking at when you've gone through vision and all the processes and breath and movement, where it's stuck in, you know, what's going on for you individually, then into the theory, and then into a small group mentoring with me. We're looking at, okay, what has come up? What have you seen that's come up? What have I seen that's come up that, you know, possibly, you know, my observation of working with all of you through that month. What am I seeing, feeling, sensing, knowing, right? My intuition, but also my professional opinion. And looking at that, we can scan that through the energetics. We could also look at what virtues, what qualities are really showing in all the different ways we are triangulating and bringing, cross-referencing. That's your work. That's your work. It just shows up because there's no way to get a lot of us. And look, I love humans. I really do. I'm one of them. But, you know, I've studied humans as far back as I can remember, and professionally, like, you know, I've said I'm a social scientist, but my background's sociology, anthropology. I'm a medical anthropologist, a socio-cultural anthropologist. Like, it's all in there. I study the human. I observe the human. I work with the human for as far back as I can remember. So it's like, why do we do what we do? How are we the way we are? Right? Looking at that with the mystic lens, because the mystic is under the it's the truth, it's the seed. It's where everything's coming from. So if you're not working with the seed, the soul, what does the soul want to experience? And how is the vessel, the human, the little aspect of you holding that greatness back? And we do. Because we've been taught, it's in our culture, most of you who are Western culture have been taught not to be great, to be quiet, little Susie. Oh, don't be too much. Oh, now you're not enough, right? It's like, what, talk about confused. And when you make it in some area of your life, and then it's like, oh, she thinks she's it, or he thinks he's all of it, you know. It's really important to be around people who support your journey, who support your greatness, who, when you're low, support you in who you are, not that lowness, right? That's a side effect. It's not who you are. You're not that low piece. And technically, you're not that high piece. You're what's in the center of both of those. You're all of it. in only one, you can't see the other. It's like being the palm when you know there's a back hand, but you can't quite get there. But you are the hand, you see. So there's all the beautiful things that if you've worked with me before, you know, will be in there. You know, if you've done conscious evolution, there's a lot of that in there because it is conscious evolution. But we're bringing in the structure so that you can work on a particular plan, and also be you tracking it. So I do the documents and whatnot. All you got to do is put it in, like whether it's a monthly goal or I tend to do 3-month goals for myself. But you know, if it's something huge, it might be, okay, this is a 6-month goal to start the steps to something that's like a 10-year plan, but you got to get started somewhere. And a lot of my clients in the past, they've had 10, 15-year plans, and they've, like one of the testimonials is on the site, but her and her husband, I worked with both of them in their eco business, and they had this long-term plan, and they reached their goals within, like, I think it says on the site, but I think it was under 2 years. It was like a year and a half or something, you know, expediting because of the mentoring. So you can get there on a long trail, or you can get there being supported by people who are also working towards a similar, you know, to be full potential, to look at what's going on and support you in group, but also individually. You're working individually on your vision, desire, goal, what your soul desire is, right? Whether you know that or not, but also as a group container, because you all rise. You all rise. Everybody rises together. So, and then we have the theory, and then the mentoring, and lastly the intentional creativity, or the way that we can have that extra processing where stuff comes up. You'll get other ways of processing, but creativity, to me, I'm a creative, but also the highest energy and awareness is a creator, right? Because the creator is the creator, right? So utilizing that energy in a creative way, it's almost like not a fake it till you make it, but bringing creativity into the process, because we're creative beings, okay? We're creative beings. And whether that is artistically or through your programs or family or, you know, your lifestyle, there's creative, you know, it's a creative creation energy that comes in. So we're practicing through integrating, and there's so much research on that. I'm not going to go into it now. Just know that it's all documented, how it impacts the nervous system and the brain. It's a whole brain process. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? So we're utilizing all the things. I know, so just let me read the rest of this. Yeah, it is for the self. It's a conscious choice here. Secrets of the human condition are coded and hidden in the stories. Exactly. And so that's a big part of why I'm here, because, like, what I call the mystic truths, because I decode. I am a decoder, right? And so that's why we, you know, I don't need to use multiple different ways, but this is how we work with energy, right? So you can use pure energetics, like distant healing and all that sort of stuff. In my clinic time, when I ran a clinic in Perth, you know, people could come and lay on the massage table, and I'd be doing protocols above them, right? Some people need to be touched. Why? To get their subconscious online as well, right? But technically we don't need that. But some people still need that. It's like, where are they at? And so having different techniques and different ways to assist wherever they're at, it's perfectly okay. It's not like, but that's just how it is. So we'll do some hands-on, some hands-off for that reason. Some people could just sit in front of me and I literally just talk to them and their stuff shifts. They don't need any even what looks like energetics. Me sitting here speaking to you is a transmission. It's a transmission of energy. No words are needed, right? When there's the connection, that intimacy, no words are needed. However, wherever that human is at, they may need that. It's like the dance. How do you dance? Where are you at in your conscious evolution, your awareness? Are you able to truly, with full awareness, choose, or are you guessing every time you're choosing? Like you can't quite navigate. There's so much outside noise, right? Getting clarity. Every coach will say, oh, we'll give you clarity. If they're not working on all the different levels, I mean, what sort of clarity? I mean, you want soul connection, clarity, soul to spirit. It's not reading a book. I'm just reading the chat. Yes, we have lost our understanding. All right, just looking at that. Yes, 3 points are more stable than 1 or 2. Yeah, it's actually design-wise. That's why. What is his name? His name escapes me now. But that was the design, those triangular designs, because of the strength. But that's the Trinity, the trilogy. It's also the grid in the higher grid in the human body is triangles. And then we have even further where we've got the diamonds. And if you look at what my business is called, it's Rhombus Healing Arts, which is right. And the what's in the center of it is the star, the gateway to unity. Right? It's not just a name I plucked out. I was told that before I was even doing any of this work, by spirit, that rhombus needed to be. And I'm like, what is a rhombus? I had no idea, but I just listened. It's like, okay. So, all right. It helps stable your body conduit. What we are learning is how to manage our physical bodies. Yeah, you could say it like that. You could also say it, it's around soul embodiment. So soul embodiment is quite advanced. Like I said the other day, if you're just waking up, or you're starting out, or you're halfway on your journey, if you want to call it that, where are you? I mean, it's an infinite journey because you're an infinite being, but while you're incarnated, what that journey is. Awakening and ascension, descension, soul embodiment, right, and beyond. So many of the clients that I have now are in that learning, or not even learning, it's being and allowing for the soul embodiment. And they have, it's happening, but it's about this regular intimacy. It's like any relationship. any relationship, if you don't have that purity of unconditional love, meaning that you see, like, you know, the stuff that happens that might bring up your fears, but then you're conscious enough to go, there's my fear. It's not about them. There's my fear. I'm reacting to something. Okay, how am I navigating that? What's that fear about? But what we do is we go, that person is this, that, and the other, and it's because of them that this, that, and the other, and it goes on, because we don't want to look at our part in it. That's why I say we're 100% responsible. It's not our fault, but we're just 100% responsible for us and how we react or respond. And that'll change your lives. If just contemplating on that, change your life. Some of you will have a kick on that, like a kickback on that. Like, I'm not responsible for all that awful stuff that happens. You're not responsible for it. You have 100% responsibility of your life. Right? And even that takes some time to get your head around it. Maybe I'll go into it another live, but for now, you know, there's levels of responsibility, and it will show where you are in your human evolution. No right or wrong, no judgment. It just is a process. It's like, where are you on your, you know, child development, right? Now, even that, we were talking about this the other day, because I worked with traumatized children as well, and it's like a traumatized child, even an adult, their chronological age is not the same as their, you know, they're young, because they haven't, the little self hasn't grown, hasn't matured, and so it's about reparenting to some degree, for want of a better word, and assisting that little child, that traumatized child within us, to mature, to be able to choose, to not have tantrums. Because most adults are having childlike tantrums. Observe that. Observe it. It's really interesting. Once you know that, you'll see it. Because you'll see a full-grown adult have a 3 or 4-year-old tantrum. And that's their fear. It's their fear. And it hasn't been integrated well. You know, there's a lot of behavioral stuff that is their responses, reactions. Anyway, I won't go into that. So, taking me off on all these different angles. My point being, I'm hoping this is interesting. I mean, I'm telling you about the program. For those, you know, the only way you're going to know about it is if I tell you about it. But I'm hoping that some of this is helpful information for you to contemplate, even if you don't want to go forward, right? Fear is an entity, it's not us. Fear, I would say, so I've got to put it this way. I don't talk about entity as such. I talk about the human nervous system will respond in particular ways. There's different arms of the nervous system. There's different energetic arms of the nervous system as well. Everything that we have physically, we have energetically. So if you take your kidney or your gallbladder out, I can still work energetically with the kidney or the gallbladder, okay? It's like you lose a limb, you lose your arm or your leg, I can still work with the energy of that. It will shrink, but we can still work with that. So when our energetics, which is far beyond us, our general energetics, so there's different levels of talking about where we start and where we end, right? Because everything is energy. So where our energetics go out in front of us, so for instance, we might say the aura is like the forward scout or the sniffer dog. It goes out and will filtrate the environment and be sensing danger or experience whatever. And that signals the physical. And it's also how, for those of you that are interested in more the, the pure metaphysics, or the more sort of spiritual, lower level spiritual or intermediary spiritual experiences of like passed over loved ones or guides or trance, mediumship, those sorts of things, how they communicate through the aura, the field. So you feel it in your physical body, but it's actually just in our energy. So not to go into a whole lesson about this, but knowing that when something touches our field, it will send signals to our physical, our nervous system will be charged in one way or another, or all of it, and that produces a felt sense. So we feel love or we feel fear, but anything felt in the nervous system is technically a fear. I know that's going to sound crazy. It's going to sound crazy, but this is what we look at. And when you start to get that in life, you're like, oh, I feel so much love for that person. Really? So I'm gonna end on this because I've been going on for a while. It's 444 as well. Those of you that are into numbers. Oh, maybe I'm not going there. I was going to bring in something else, but it's completely for another day. All right. So any questions about any of that? If you are wanting to work with me, there's not many ways to work with me at this moment. There's a lot of creation energy going towards this program because it's a 10-month program, and there's a lot involved on my end to create that experience and those processes, and making sure they're mapped well so that it's all in where it needs to be within reason, because obviously I'm an intuitive and I will gently dance with what's needed for each individual. However, the processes and what relates to each level of development for your best result. So I'm focused there at the moment. I just don't know, any other program that covers every aspect like that. So yes, it may feel like a lot of investment, but when you look at it's really actually worth much more than what I priced it at. So it just depends where you're at. What would you, for those of you that have are really stuck, like there's all sorts of things going on in your life, what would be the number that you would give for that to be even half worked through, right? What would that be? Sometimes we've got to start looking at what is the cost of not moving forward and not, investing in yourself. What's the cost of that? Because the cost could be your life. If you're working with, illness, it's no fear tactics here. It's just I help people transition all the time. I've always have, and animals, there's no fear in death. It's just a doorway. However, looking at whether you have a fear of death, and if you have, because as a yogini, we look at death every day. It's a process. It's a fear, so we're looking at our fears every day, accepting them, integrating it, working with it, rather than just pushing it away and pretending it's not going to happen. But to go back to, if you've got something going on with your health and wellness, there's also, although I can only probably take, I think I can take one maybe 2. I have to check the numbers. In the Walk with Grace, which is the tracking every day for 4 weeks other than the weekends. So Monday to Friday, me tracking your energy and documenting your energy and realigning it. So if you're having, so people having chemo or something serious like that, when they're building their energies up before they have chemo, and then as they have it, the energy tends to spike. So I've been tracking this for other people. And then as we realign, it levels out again. It levels out, they get stronger. And so when they have the next lot of chemo, they don't spike out so much, and it levels out quicker. And it's this I've been tracking. There's people I've been tracking for like going on 4 months now of or maybe even longer. I'll have to look at the chart, and doing graphs. And it's really cool to see when I put it into graphs, you know, because some people are visual, the actual points where stuff's going on. And I was telling somebody today that I can see when one energy is peaked. I can say to that person, you know, how are you going today? Have you had, you know, see what's going on. And I might say, have you had any bowel issues, you know, constipation or diarrhea? And they'll say yes. Well, I already know that because their energy shown me that that's where it's gone out, and that will be a symptom. And so, you know, very minimum symptoms, but when it does go out, what's happened? Oh, I took this. Or one in particular said, I went out drinking. I was like, yep, I can see it. Like your energies have just gone boom. So we can get back on track. But getting you to see how your lifestyle impacts, especially if you've got ongoing chronic health issues, do you see? You can see where it goes out. So we can align it. And if you continue to live a certain lifestyle, it's just going to go out. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a choice. There's no judgment on it. I'm just letting you know that there are choices out there, and there are things that we can look at, and they're not common ways. They're not common ways of looking at it. But just to let you know, I've had all my abilities tested, scientifically tested. I have the charts, I have the, you know, all of that, my brain, my head, like all the different, 13 different ways of my body being a conduit and facilitating healing. You know, all of that. So I don't need to prove anything. I'm just letting some of you know that a bit like wary of like, well, who is this woman? She's asking for all this money. I'm asking for that money because what I do works, and it's over a period of time. And if you want me to walk with you, it's going to cost something. It's going to cost something because I can only walk with so many at a time. Do you see? So we have a beautiful small group of women. Men are invited, but tends to be women so far. And I'm really excited because these women are power filled. Let's just say that. And I'm excited to see what they cause and create in the world, and also in the container. So if you want to come along with us, or you're curious about, like, you've got questions, ask me. We start on Monday, right? This is why I'm saying it now, because I've talked to people who've said, I don't even know what it is, like, and I'll be like, what? Because, you know, they don't know whether they can do it or whatever, and, you know, we've discussed it and helped them work it out. So to a degree, right, there are scholarships, but it's to a degree. It's not free. It's not free scholarships. They're part scholarships. But not everybody who applies will get them, because it's like, well, where are you at? Are you going to meet me halfway, or are you going to make me do all the lifting? Do you know what I mean? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because this is the most awesome process and program that I've ever been in, and it's It's like that because I've tried everything. I've tried everything. In other people's I know what's out there. I've been around a long time. So putting together what works to get results. So anyway, thank you for being here. What's this one? All forms of life governed by the higher order, fungi. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here, and hopefully you got something out of that. If not, from Circle, a few little points to ponder. If you're anyway inclined, just reach out to me. Whatever platform you're looking at, Instagram, direct message me, Facebook, direct message me. I'm happy to do what have I got on? Can either talk to you tonight, or what day is it? It's Thursday, isn't it? Tomorrow morning. Message me and we'll work it out, and I'll talk. I've been talking to a lot of people today because they had questions, and amazing conversations. Doesn't mean that they are coming on board, right? But it showed me, what are people wanting to know, and what's the energy here, and what are the fears, and what are the, right? So if you have any of those, like, I would love to do it, but reach out to me, and we'll see if that but is a real but, a real brick wall, or a make-believe one that, I'll help you think outside the box, right? How to do that. And I wish I could tell you stories of, what we talked about today, just to give you an example, but just know, right? Just know. So, much love to you all. And I don't know who's watching on Facebook. I can't see who you all are, but, I can see now a little bit. Hey. All right. So if you're watching on any of these platforms and you want the link, or just DM me, just private message me, or just message, and I will message you back. And you if you've got a question, you can just put it in, or you can say, look, can we have a chat? Because I'm interested, I just don't know how I'm going to do it, right? Or I can't do this day, or the time zone's out. I had one lady, I was negotiating with her. She's in a different time zone, and we were negotiating how that would work, right? I spent my life assisting, thinking outside the box, creating, opportunities and outcomes that others couldn't see were possible, right? That's just my sparkly brain. So that is what lights me up, to see how else, like if we just took all of that away and went, okay, what are we working with, and what's the potential here, and we just looked into that. And sometimes it's just a feel. I can feel, I can't see it quite yet, I can feel it. It's about sitting with that. So I'll leave you with that. I'm going to go and get on with my afternoon. Much love to you all. Thanks for popping in, and I shall see you, well, if you're coming on board, I'll see you on Monday, and I won't see you on Tuesday. Well, I might pop in on Tuesday, and if not, I'll see you next Thursday. So ciao, ciao. May the blessings be.